What's good, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today, I want to talk about what I do to prepare for a round of Virtual Drift Championship. Now, you're probably wondering what that is. Essentially, what Virtual Drift Championship, aka VDC, is. It's essentially the Formula Drift of the virtual world. About 70 drivers from around the globe compete at the highest level of competitive virtual drifting to win the Virtual Drifting Championship. The way you get into this series is you have to earn a license from a feeder series or be a professional driver in a real life series such as Formula Drift, Drift Masters, etc. And this Saturday, when this video is released, is the 4th round at Bahrain International Circuit, which is a very interesting track. And today, I want to walk through a little bit of the process when it comes to learning the track, driving the track, and overall how to master driving the track and being consistent so I could do well this weekend. Before we get into the video, I want to show you this. Check this out. We got our own custom steering wheels from Grip Royal. How sick is this? This is one of those things I'm super pumped about. I've always seen, my favorite drivers have their own Grip Royal wheel, their own signature wheel, and now Boundless Racing has their own. So if you want one for yourself, it's a pretty sick wheel. You could get either a floating center cap, which isn't on it now, or this horn delete button plate, which is super sick. Comes with 2 custom engravings right here and right here. You get it on our website at boundlessracing.com. I just wanted to show it. I'm really happy. It's a small thing, but it's something I've always been looking forward to, so super pumped we were able to get that done. So with that, let's hop right into the video. So the first thing I do when learning a track is I just drive through it normally. So I try to understand what's going on. So as you can see here, initiate, there's a clip right here. This is your first outer zone, second outer zone. Now both of these, it seems pretty easy for you to dip a tire into that green, which I can assume would be tires off the track. And here, this wall, in the beginning, you see it's stuck out a little bit, so you just got to be careful there. But yeah, I want to be as outside as possible. And then here, transition zone, again, probably dip a tire there like I did there. And then the last clip, there's those rumble strips. I'm going to try to use the rumble strips in order to set the car up for that last zone. And that's it. And then I also like to take a look towards the end of the track. If they have these sets of cones, this probably means that you got to turn around when you're done to drive back to the start line for a battle. I'd rather know that as soon as possible, sooner rather than later. I don't want to know that during battles. I think that could throw me off mentally. So now we come to driving the track. When it comes to learning how to drive the track, I like to do a lot of solo runs and just try to dial in my lead line. Once I could dial that in, then I can focus more on the chasing. So for the flick, I don't want to use any handbrake, more like left foot brake, settle the car outside, transition mid-track. Make sure I don't drop a tire here. It's probably super easy to do so, especially with the big behemoth of E92. And I'll be up front. I've driven this track already a decent bit, so this isn't fresh in the mind. Using those rumble strips, getting on throttle right when the clip starts in order to get myself nice outside. And I want to drive a few of these solo runs. This is the first time I've driven today. Today's Wednesday. That's right, I'm recording this on the same day. So I want to get, fresh with the track, reacquainted with what's going on, and just dial myself in. Come through there, full throttle, shift up the gears, transition, left foot brake, nice and outside, rotate the car. And then here, try not to be too sketched out, just rotate it sooner than later so I could set my line prior to this clip. I feel like if you're transitioning into the clip, drop a tire there, that first wall, not this wall, but the first wall, I feel like if you're transitioning into it, and you're transitioning into the zone rather than setting it and then going through it, I feel like that's only going to harm you rather than help you, just because that wall does seem to stick out, and if you're carrying so much momentum into the corner and doing that sort of thing, you're going to slam into the wall. So now, since this is day 4, I feel pretty comfortable. And today I just want to get consistent, right? Day 5, 6, 7, get consistent with the track. Car feels good, feel decent on the track. do lead runs, chase runs, all that good stuff. So right now, Brandon Patrick is chasing me. Try not to do anything abnormal that I normally do. Just keep it consistent and do what I normally do. I don't like to force the chase. Oh, that was my fault. As I was saying, I don't like to force the chase into any errors. I feel like that's really scummy and not something you should do as a driver. I feel like as a lead driver, your job is to lay down a 100-point run. And in doing so, just do what you normally do. The judges will award you for that rather than trying to scumbag someone or trying to run away or whatever games you want to play or force anyone into a mistake. Don't do that. The transition is a lot better. Still didn't settle into angle there. Thought I used the left foot brake to adjust and I think the wall at the end, but that's alright. Last wall I've been having trouble with all week. I feel really good about it, so that's good. Oh, I hit him. Oops. I feel pretty good with this track compared to last round. I'll leave that video right here. I didn't do too great. Honestly, didn't feel well. I switched chassis and all that. Go, lead. Come on. What are we doing? I didn't feel comfortable last round. This round, I feel a lot more comfortable. My tuning philosophy has also changed a lot compared to last round. Let's just say I'm driving with a lot less front grip. It's freeing up the front end and not really understeering everywhere, which feels awesome. And yeah, trying to add angle into the car, tuning-wise with my suspension. So that's awesome as well. And transition. Oh! Honestly, wasn't a bad run. First chase run of the day. Not too shabby. So some notes I've been making throughout the week, and this is something I do just to remind myself on things to work on. That last corner, it's going to be really tricky come Saturday. I could already guarantee it. A lot of battles are going to be determined by that last corner. Either you're leaving too much room or not leaving enough room in transition. And either being left or slamming into the lead driver. I feel like that margin of error to perfect it is really, really small. So when it comes to chasing, that's something I'm really focusing on. And the transition into both walls, like this wall as well, I feel it's really easy to let that lead driver go. Leave too much room or, hit them in transition or whatever. That's something I've been working on this past week, just perfecting it and trying to dial that in before Saturday. I feel like if I could get that dialed in before Saturday, I have a really solid chance of doing well this weekend. Another chase on Mr. Brandonius Patricio. Let's see here. Whoa! Okay. That was fun. Gotta love video games, Get on his door, yep, and then leave enough room here, but still sucker up. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Probably be more aggressive as the week goes on. It is only Wednesday, so got 2 more days to practice. That was like how I want to do that last corner right there. If you saw, I was really aggressive. I was on that fine line between slamming into him and giving enough space, which is what you want to do. This car is big. This E92 is friggin' humongous. I'm still getting used to it. If I would have drove an E82, I think that would have been better because I'm used to smaller cars, but the E92 does feel good, especially this round. A left foot brake, just trying to be as smooth as possible with my inputs as well. Try not to jerk a lot with my wheel. My head motion is set up to where if I am being jerky, it shows. Link right here for my neck effects video if you want to check it out. Down throttle early. A bit more outside there. But throughout the week, my consistency has greatly improved, which is what you want, especially for these VDC rounds. I think last round was the worst I have ever driven in VDC. Consistency is the name of the game here, and the earlier you could set your car up to feel good, and you could just dial in yourself as the driver, the better. And it's Wednesday, right? I still have Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning I still have 3 days to practice, and I already feel, stupid consistent with the car. I know what it's going to do. I love how the front end feels. The rear end feels nice and planning. Here I'm going to be a little more aggressive. Kind of shortcut the track a little bit. His car is a lot smaller than mine, so don't want to die going into the wall. Do another set of runs, but overall, when it comes to preparing for these VDC rounds, I've said it a lot of times, I do have a little bit. First day is usually just learning the track. The second day is trying to dial in the track, so my tuning and all that stuff. The third day is, starting to implement more chasing than lead driving. But again, you want to balance your tune and how you set up the car to be, fast enough where you're not super slow chasing people, but not so fast that it's hard to chase people, and not so slow where you're getting gapped or people are slamming into you when you're in the lead because you're so slow. Day 3 and 4, so Tuesday and Wednesday, are always the most vital days for me, just because that is the determining factor of how consistent can I be and how good do I feel. There's a lot of emphasis on dialing in those days, just so I could spend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday just getting better at driving. That second corner, I nailed that. And then don't leave too much room here. A little bit left foot brake. Don't go too fast. A lot more angle than I did. Yeah, compared this to Sunday, my driving has leveled up a lot. And then the next thing I like to do is I always like to check the replays, because those are essentially the truth serum. It's what the judges see. It's what the stream sees. So always like to check that out. And we'll just check those out while we're here. So yeah, we got Brandon Patrick. I'll leave his good old Instagram in the caption. But let's see here. Coming in, good lead run. Could be a smidge more outside, like a smidge. Moving through, a little wide there. I'm dropping a small tire. Transition nicely, nice and outside. Brandon's right on me, right? Having good angle, which is what I want to do. Transition, good speed as well. Could have been a little smoother into that final zone, but it is what it is. And yeah, so just to be very upfront, this week, I feel great. Comparatively to Silverstone, I feel 50 times better. The car feels good, and now all I have to do is dial in my driving. I'm making no changes to the car, no additions in tow, bar, nothing. Just keeping it the same until Saturday, and I'm not going to change anything Saturday either. Let's check this chase run. Could have been a little closer here, but still great proximity. Pulled out a little angle, good transition. Yeah, I'm right on his door through there, and you can see that camera really gives an emphasis there. I need to be closer in the beginning of this wall, and that's just something I've been struggling with at this track. Let me transition over. And boom. Yeah, I could have had more angle going in that last corner, had a little bobble, but overall, a really, really solid place for myself to set myself up well for Saturday, come around for a VDC. So with that, that does it for this video. I hope you found it valuable and helpful, and a little insight into what I do to prepare myself for a VDC round. So if you could take one thing away from this video, staying consistent and being consistent throughout the week is going to be your biggest factor, whether you do well or you don't do well on Saturday. And also, I just want to throw in, every day I spend about an hour driving. Some people do more, some people do less. I just feel that hour is a good middle ground for me, where I'm not super burnt out, and at the same time, I'm still driving and putting some hours in. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos just like this and some other sim racing content. And if you're looking for a place to buy new sim racing gear from your favorite brands in the world, head on over to boundlessracing.com and use code 404 for 5% off. So with that said, I do hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.